SportsRadioDetroit.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm Marty. With me, as always, Adam and Ben. We are the wrestling fans here on Sports Radio Detroit. Got a decent amount of stuff to talk about, so I'm going to jump right into it. We have the Battleground results, which we all did really well on this one, guys. It was a close one. Let's see here. We started off with Dillinger and English, which that was the kickoff show. We all predicted Dillinger to win this thing,
and we were all wrong.
We were all wrong. Which, who would have thought Aiden English would get that win? It was crazy, and it was a decent match too. I credit both guys because I don't really care about either one of them, to be honest with you. I've told you guys before, I don't get the hype over Dillinger. Aiden English is just I don't know what the hell they're doing with him, so I don't really care about them, and they're not doing anything worthwhile. So I credit both those guys with actually a pretty entertaining match. I'm just surprised with the win because Dillinger kind of had that momentum going, and Aiden English is like their new Barry Horowitz. He's just a big jobber, but whatever. It is what it is. The tag titles were up next. The Usos defended against New Day. Ben, you and I both went New Day on this one. Adam went Lone Wolf on the Usos. The New Day getting the titles. I'm not surprised by that at all, to be honest with you. I kind of figured it was going to happen as soon as feasibly possible. Good Lord, I apologize for that. Adam, what was your take on going with the Usos? I'm wondering why you just felt it wasn't time for New Day yet.
Honestly, I just figured they would hold it off until SummerSlam. With that big of a pay-per-view being right around the corner and the New Day being as popular as they are, I just kind of figured they'd hold it off for another month.
Yeah, that makes sense. I kind of figured New Day was going to get it, though, because the Usos, even though they've held the titles for, 158 times, they're like transitional champions. They're always there. They'll hold them for a short amount of time, and then boom, they'll lose them right to the next up and coming tag team, which is fine because they keep getting the titles back, which means the company trusts them, that's a good thing. That's what you want. The next match was Nakamura versus Corbin. Adam, you and I both went Nakamura. Ben went Lone Wolf on Corbin there. What were your thoughts on that one, Ben?
They had to finally do something with Corbin. It's one of the things where I know you guys always make fun of me, but be prepared to make fun of me again. He did win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, so that's one notch in his belt, and that was now 2 years ago. And he needed something else to his resume if he truly is this up-and-coming star that they want to push. They needed to finally do something with him, and they did. That's just how I see it playing out. And, what we saw this past week, before SummerSlam, it seems like he's going to get a feud with John Cena in the stupidest cashing of money in the bank we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But at least he's going to get a feud with Cena because that means that you've quote-unquote made it because Cena likes to test you, and if he doesn't like you, he buries you, as we've all heard in various reports. So that's why I went with Corbin because I think they really want to see how far he can go. So you have your litmus test with Cash Money Cena because that's all he is. He's green, and if he gives the nod to Corbin, you're going to see Corbin take off.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I was just curious. You went against Nakamura. I was wondering the reason for that. And that's all fine and good. I'm not going to make fun of your Andre the Giant Battle Royal thing. The next match,
a tournament that means nothing.
Right.
I'll do it for you.
I would simply say Rob Gronkowski to the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. That's all it needs said.
Yeah.
That's true. This is true. This is very true.
The next was the Fatal 5-Way between Charlotte, Natalya, Lana, Becky Lynch, and Tamina. Ben, you and I both went with Lana. We both cringed when we made that choice. Adam made a logical choice with Becky, and all three of us were wrong again. Surprisingly, they went with Natalya, which I'm happy about because I'm a big Natty fan. But I don't really see them doing anything with her. She's got her match at SummerSlam with Naomi, and they haven't been. I don't know. It's been weird. They really haven't been interacting very much, and the stuff they have done has been like minimal. Like it's been forgettable. So I just I don't know. I kind of wish there was Charlotte, Becky, or even Lana, for God's sake, something where it would be relevant. But like they're doing nothing with this. So giving Natalya the win it looks silly right now. U.S. title was on the line. AJ Styles defended against Owens. All three of us picked Styles. All three of us were wrong. Like I said, these little events are really, really strange. You wouldn't expect the titles to change hands, and Owens getting the U.S. title back was bizarre because I believe he dropped it the very next SmackDown, if memory serves me correctly. Let's see. They had the stupid flag match, which I was never on board with because I hate the theory of it. I hate the way it's laid out. It's just dumb. Cena versus Rusev. All three of us went with Cena, and we were right. No big surprise there. Another one we were all wrong about: Sami Zayn versus Mike Kanellis. We all thought Kanellis would win because Sami Zayn is a perennial jobber. Sami Zayn got the win. Surprisingly, because we've said multiple times on this podcast, Sami Zayn is just a guy they don't really do anything with unless they want somebody else to look good. And so I was kind of surprised they buried Kanellis. Well, not buried, but they had him job out, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just surprised they did it. And in the Punjabi prison match, again, I'm just going through this so people know our results here. Mahal defended against Orton. We all went Mahal. None of us had the reason correct, though. None of us saw Great Khali coming back. Apparently, he's gone again already. That was not very long. The final tally, Ben, you and Adam had 3. I had 4 on this one. That seems to be the case. Like, I get the weird, stupid, ridiculous pay-per-views once a year, and then I just drop it at the very next one. So, Adam, Ben, I'm going to polish up the title for one of you guys. Just leave my nameplate on it for at least a week, please.
You could at least brag, dude. You finally broke through. Transitional champion or not, you have the belt, dude. Play it up.
This is true.
We need to do a Marty Stouffer. This is your life, dude. We need to do something because this never happens.
Every time we see This Is Your Life, it's god awful. Like, look at Alexa Bliss. Mankind did it with Foley, but that was memorable because it was the first one. It was kind of funny, but every time they do one of those, it's god awful. So we're not going to do it. This Is Your Life, but I'm happy about this one because it's been a while since I've held it.
It's been about a year, hasn't it? To be honest,
yeah, give or take. I'm sure Adam's got it tallied down somewhere.
I just know I have a lot.
Yeah, you do.
The official tally: Adam a lot, Ben sometimes, Marty almost never.
Marty 2. The next one is a story that I think is. I don't know. They're clearly not doing it because they haven't announced it. It's not happening. But Chris Cyborg, notorious MMA fighter, female fighter, wants to take on Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. Lynch accepted it. She wants to do it, but it's not happening. I'm wondering if you guys have any theories on why that's not happening. I mean, it seems like it could be somewhat interesting. I mean, we know Becky Lynch can grapple. Clearly not as good as Cyborg, but I'm wondering what your guys' take is on this one. Adam, I'll go to you first. Why do you think they're not doing this?
I'm not real sure why. Maybe they're going to try and save it for SummerSlam. Maybe they'll try and make it work if Lesnar actually goes back to UFC to fight John Jones or somebody else. But honestly, I'm not that upset about it. They have plenty of talented women who are there every single day, busting their ass, trying to make the company better. I'm perfectly fine leaving Cyborg or Ronda Rousey on the sidelines, man.
Oh, I am too. Yeah, I am. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just saw that it was a decent storyline that they themselves were doing that I thought could have played out pretty well. Ben, what do you think? Why do you think they're not doing this?
Because they actually made a smart decision and fell into it. Luckily, honestly, because I don't get the whole cross promotion of. I didn't get it in the 80s. Now looking back on it, obviously, because when it happened, I was, 1. But, when Mr. T fought, Roddy Piper, that was stupid. When Hulk Hogan did No Holds Barred and Zeus was actually, a real wrestler for, 2 or 3 years. That was stupid. Hulk Hogan even though I'm a big Rocky diehard fan, Hulk Hogan crossing over and being Thunder Lips and fighting Rocky in a charity match, stupid. Like, we all get wrestling's fake. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be entertaining. But I don't get why, like when Lawrence Taylor came in, when Floyd Mayweather quote-unquote boxed the Big Show, I don't get why we have to do this cross-branding, cross-promoting stuff, because wrestling is clearly at an all-time high. You don't need these gimmicks. You don't need to, for people to be like, hey, did you know they're still wrestling? I mean, you literally don't even have to look hard on your TV or anywhere, and you'll find wrestling on accident. I guarantee you it will happen. And I just think it's stupid. Why do we need to have Becky Lynch fight Cyborg? Nothing productive is going to come out of that at all. I would rather see, just because Brock Lesnar has fought in the UFC, if like Tito Ortiz, who went with TNA for a little bit, if he wanted to scrap with Brock Lesnar in a good old-fashioned Lion's Den match, that would be fine, because both those guys know what equal sides are, and Ortiz is further separated from UFC. But to me it's just ridiculous and unnecessary promotion. I mean, it would be like, as an example, if Mayweather beats McGregor in a couple of weeks, and McGregor needs to find the next hottest thing, he teams up with Becky Lynch to do a tag match against like Cyborg and someone else. It would just be pure spectacle and no substance, and I don't think wrestling needs that. So I think the WWE, like I said, lucked into it here.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. It's not that I wanted to see it. I just thought it could have been cool. Like I'm not a big Cyborg fan. I just thought it was kind of cool because like they went out there, they kind of did the work themselves, and WWE didn't follow up with it, which is fine. Ben, you're absolutely right. They don't need the crossover. Adam, you're right. I'm not upset about it either. I mean, it was just something that I thought was interesting that these two women went and did the work, and WWE's like, yeah, you know what? Not happening. And I'm okay with that. That's fine. They're better off without it, to be honest with you. The next one is pretty funny. It's a hometown guy for me and Adam. The three of us have all readily poo-pooed on the Jason Jordan Kurt Angle storyline. In our opinions, rightfully so. It's kind of a whack storyline. It's believable. It's just stupid. It's unnecessary. And Shane Douglas basically saying Jordan's really not ready to be on his own yet. And if you've been watching, he's right. He's not ready. He's terrible. He's terrible mic skills. His matches have all been okay. Now that maybe just because of who he's working with, maybe I don't know. But he's not ready to be on his own. But the big problem Shane Douglas had with this was credibility. And he said, and I quote, "It's not believable when Ancestry can be so easily researched." And he's right. You can go online to Ancestry.com and look these things up, and you can do all that. So it's kind of, in Shane's defense, it is stupid. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but do you guys kind of agree with it? I mean, we've beaten this storyline into the ground quite a bit too. But do you guys kind of agree with Shane Douglas? Like, that's one of the main reasons it's incredibly stupid is because it can be researched so easily. Ben?
Yeah. And I think it's stupid that they broke up American Alpha for no reason. Like, yes. I mean, you had a really solid tag team, guys that aren't singles competitors on their own, and you had a really good tag team out of it, and you broke it up for a garbage storyline. So, yeah, no, I agree with the franchise all day, every day.
Adam?
Yeah, when a guy like Shane Douglas, whether you like what he did in ECW or you don't, he still put in a ton of years in that business. When he says stuff like that, you need to listen. And he's 100% right, because storylines like that work best when there either is an element of truth or there could be an element of truth. With this, right. I mean, it's so easily disproved. It's not worth anybody's time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's one of those things that we all said, like, why did we have to go this route? It was just dumb. Like, they could have done any multiple storyline. They could have done any other route with Angle and American Alpha, and it would have been so much better than what they're putting out there now. It's ridiculous. this next one I thought was kind of interesting, and Ben, I'm going to come to you first on this one. I forget who had the storyline. It was on Facebook, so it was like it might have been Forbes, I believe. Raw and SmackDown Live might be going to the WWE Network. They might just be, when their contract's up with the USA Network, they might be done. The revenue increased 8% to $214.6 million, and many viewers subscribe to the network and streaming sites anyways. So if it can save them money by going on their own streaming site, it kind of makes sense. Ben, I kind of look to you as one of the guys who understands the business side of things better because you're in media. So what do you think about this? Like, do you think it's smart on their part? Do you think it's kind of a bad idea? What do you think about this?
I honestly think it's long overdue. It's something that if you have Hulu, you can watch Raw the next night. If you miss it, and if you have the Hulu package where you don't have to watch commercials, you can literally the next night watch Raw in an hour and a half. You can still watch NXT on Hulu. You can watch Total Divas, I think, because of the E! Network. Like, Hulu basically has things that you don't need cable for. And the WWE and Hulu have been partners now, I want to say, for like 3 years, if not longer. And once the network was created, what was it now, 4 years ago?
Something.
I was going to say, it's almost at its 5-year anniversary. It's something that it just seemed like, and I know why they couldn't do it. Legality-wise, they probably couldn't say, we're going to show SmackDown and Raw on the network, because we are tied into these cable contracts. So, but to me, it would have made sense just right when you create the network, and yes, you run a risk of it, but after the first year or so, you have to make a conscious decision and be like, hey, look, it's growing. We are getting subscribers. Why don't we just finally pull out of whatever we're doing and go full bore on the network? And I think, again, that's kind of why 205 Live is poisoned. Because you're watching it on TV. You're watching SmackDown on TV. And then they're doing a huge leap of faith that you go from your TV onto your computer to watch 205 Live. And that's why, like, that programming didn't make sense at all. 205 Live should be after NXT or before NXT, because you are already in front of that screen on your computer or your phone or, your tablet, wherever. You're already in front of that screen. There's no leap of faith there where you need to hope people are turning off the TV and going to the network. Like, it works when you do the exclusive interviews immediately after Raw. Like, something big happens, and you have, Triple H wants to talk immediately or, whatever, and they do it on the network. That's cool, and that's fine, but you also run into opportunities like you had on Monday. You could tell WWE was already stretching over. USA is allotted, you get, 5 to 10 minutes overtime on our network guaranteed. It was painful where they had to find a natural cutoff point from just programming to leave if Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman were going to go at it. And I think that's where a move like taking Raw and SmackDown to the network work. Because now we've seen it with pay-per-views. You see it where time limits don't mean anything anymore. Clearly, SummerSlam on Sunday is going to be another 4.5 hour show. Like,
yep.
WrestleMania is like
all over again.
Right, and WrestleMania is like, a 12-hour show, even though it's like really 6. But you know what I mean, though. Like,
last year, WrestleMania ended about 3 a.m. At least that's what it felt like.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, though. Like, you have that opportunity where you have like this great content, and you're not forced off of it. Like, I understand, yes, a show has to end. At some point, everyone that's in that ring has to go back up the aisle and leave. When you're in a house show, when you're actually there watching SmackDown or Raw live, you get that because they tell you, like, you can tell when the show is over. When you're on the network, you can use that same natural break point to end it and have Michael Cole throw it to a close, and then whatever you have, whatever Mick Foley's show is, or the show on the network where They're in the car and they're talking. Whatever you want to throw it to, Camp WWE, whatever. You have the ability to, and I think that they should have done it sooner. And I know I've probably talked about this now for like 6 minutes, and I apologize, but it's something that I honestly think. Long story short, they should have made this move. Maybe not in the infancy of the network, but they should have done it like a year or two ago.
Yeah, and that's fair. Adam, what do you think? Are you on board with Ben and I? Because I agree with him. I kind of think it's time for them to kind of go do their own thing. I mean, you see the NFL is kind of doing their own deal. I mean, they stream games on Twitter, for God's sake. It seems like because cable bills are retardedly high. Cable's expensive. Dish is expensive. Whatever you want to call it, it's not cheap. So it makes it kind of and they are losing viewers because people are just like, should I pay my water bill this month or my cable bill? So it does make more sense to go there. But what do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I think it makes a ton of sense for them. I mean, they'll still have, plenty of sponsors and everything else, but if you think about it, like, yeah, they'll still be getting the sponsor money, but now if they don't have to worry about the networks in the middle of everything, a lot more of that subscription fee is going to go to their pockets. And Marty, you're right, because me and my wife actually just cut the cable cord about a month ago. And we've done Sling TV, so we get USA. But I'll tell you what, if we didn't, I wouldn't be going out of my way to watch Raw or SmackDown right now. If they had it on the network, I'd probably have it on every night regardless. So, yeah, I think it makes a ton of sense for WWE. I'd be a lot more surprised if it didn't happen when their contracts are up than if it did.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I want to say they have, 1 year left, maybe 2 on their deal with USA. Because when they went back to it, it wasn't an overly long contract.
It's not that long. I'm pretty sure it's 2 years or under. I think you're right on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the exact verbiage, but I know it's not like a long contract like it used to be. Getting away from that, we are the wrestling fans. We do talk about other organizations sometimes, as often as we can, without being ridiculous. I have 2 Global Force Wrestling, TNA, Impact, whatever you want to call it. I have 2 stories from there. One is a good story, and the other one I think is kind of silly. It's something we talked about before the show started. The first one I want to talk about, Davey Richards, formerly of the Wolves. He has decided to retire from pro wrestling. He's like our age, 34, 35, something like that. In wrestling years, he's relatively young because, you figure a lot of guys stay in there for a long time. He has decided to retire to pursue a career in becoming a doctor. He's already been an EMT and a paramedic and all that, and he's working on becoming a doctor. And I think that's great. I mean, as a wrestling fan, I hate seeing a talented cat like that go, but he's going for the right reasons. He wants to be home with his family. We all know he's married to Angelina Love. They have a kid now, so they're off. He wants to kind of be a family man, stay at home kind of guy, and that's awesome. And being a doctor is going to be so much better on his body and potentially on his brain than taking chair shots to the head. The other one, and I know you guys don't watch it. That's why I'm not throwing it to you on this one. I just want to put that out there for people that are wondering why he's not been on TV. The other one is something we talked about before the show went on the air. And in respect to the guy being discussed here, it's a little silly when you hear it. Tyrus went on Twitter today, and today is Wednesday. He went on Twitter today, and he addressed Global Force Wrestling Impact, again, whatever you want to call it. And he said, I've been with TNA for 3 years now. He said, and by and large, it's been great. He said, but the past, 7-8 weeks, whatever, he goes, have been kind of abysmal. You've done nothing with me. You give me nothing to do. Because I show up on TV for like 2 minutes. He goes, it's been terrible. He said, I'm going to pull a Kaepernick. I mean, those were his exact words. I'm going to pull a Kaepernick, and I'm going to take a knee. I'm not coming to work. Now, the 3 of us kind of thought this was ridiculous because, let's face it, Tyrus isn't the best in-ring worker because he's limited because of his size. He's clearly charismatic because he's doing stuff on TV shows. He was on Glow. He's got a role on Preacher. He does all that stuff. But when you're a pro wrestler, your shelf life is somewhat limited when you're that big, and you're not a main event guy, so it's really dangerous to kind of flirt with your career. I think it's kind of silly of him to say that, hey, I'm going to hold out and I'm just not going to show up at work. Adam, what do you think about this? I mean, you think Tyrus is kind of playing career suicide here?
First, just quick aside, for him to say I'm pulling Kaepernick, I'm not going to show up for work is kind of ridiculous because Kaepernick was protesting, a lot of other, more important things than who's getting what spot in the wrestling card.
Right.
But that aside, yeah, it's a pretty dangerous game to play when you're not, the main event talent at any spot, especially TNA. I mean, more power to him if that's what he wants to do. But I'm certainly not going to feel bad for if TNA just turns on and goes, you know what, get out. Because,
yeah,
I mean, why wouldn't they at that point? If they're not using him anyways, and all he's going to do is talk negative, there's no need for him to be there.
Exactly. And the funny thing is the reason I saw it first is I happened to open up Twitter, and Matt Hardy, who I also follow, he had addressed Tyrus on. He said, "Hey man, I'm glad you know your worth, and this is great." And he said, "I support you and all this blah blah blah." So that's why I saw it. I mean, otherwise I probably wouldn't have even noticed it. Ben, what do you think? You think Tyrus is playing career suicide here?
Yeah. No, I think he definitely is because he's someone that, as we talked about, before the show, he's a mid-card guy at best. He can't really take liberties with anything, inside the ring. We mentioned that, he's on Glow. He's, doing, things with preachers. You said Marty. But I don't think that's going to be enough to keep getting a steady paycheck in because, at least in Glow, he didn't really show that much of a personality. He was just like the big imposing force being there. So that only takes you so far. And I think he's playing chicken with his career. And he might just have to go to Japan. In all honesty, because if I was, TNA or WWE, I would see this entire situation and be like, yeah, I mean, we haven't used you and you haven't been used in close to a month. You're okay with it. You're okay with it. We're okay with it. Best of luck to you, man. Hope you do well in Mexico or, the UK if you want to try there or, independent shows and try to still, use off whatever celebrity you think you still have. More power to you, dude. But if you don't want to show up for work in a month, you don't want to let storylines play out, we'll just create new ones around you. That's okay. No skin off our nose. So yeah, he's definitely playing chicken with his career, and I think he's going to fail.
I agree. And I know he does stuff with Fox News, too. He's some kind of analyst. He does, I want to say business, or he does some kind of analyst with Fox News, but he's not always on. Like JBL is constantly on Fox News or CNN, whatever, because we all know he's a financial wizard. I mean, he's played the stock market. I mean, he don't have to do what he's doing now for wrestling. He can retire and have money coming out of his nose until the day he dies. He's one of those stock market wizards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly what it is Tyrus does. I want to say it has something to do with business analysts as well. I don't know, man. Like you said, if I don't think it's enough. I don't think he's doing enough outside of wrestling to play career suicide. I really don't. But I mean, more power to you. Good luck. I mean, if it fails, it's on you. I just hope he's got a contingency planned. The fellas, I'm excited about this last topic. It's something we've teased doing for several months now. We're gonna do a prediction game based on NXT for the first time ever. It's NXT cards are short, but they're always good. They always outshine SummerSlam. I think that's going to happen again this year, to be honest with you, because this card is stacked. Let's go first to a weird match that was kind of thrown together. I'm going to say we're going to start with Johnny Gargano versus, oh God, I'm going to butcher his name, Andrade Cien Almas. I'm unfamiliar with him because I haven't seen him enough. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Gargano versus Almas. Adam, who you got?
This should actually be a pretty solid match. I've seen Almas a couple times, and he can wrestle. And obviously, if you've listened to this podcast, I think everyone knows that we're pretty big fans of Johnny wrestling here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I haven't really watched a lot of NXT, so I'm definitely picking blind. But I would imagine this program got thrown together because we talked about last pod that Ciampa has torn ACL. So I'm going to go Johnny Gargano. I think they're going to try and keep him, pretty hot while Ciampa's on the shelf so they can dive right back into that feud ASAP.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I'm going to go with Gargano as well, just for the sheer fact that he seems to be the guy that can pretty much work with anybody from what I've seen. It would be a nice win for Almas to go against the guy, go against Johnny Wrestling and get a win. It kind of help boost him. But I'm going to go with Gargano for the sheer fact that I think they like what he can do more than Almas. Ben, what are you thinking?
Why start in a hole? I'm going to go with Gargano. I was going to say that's the only reason. I mean, outside of that, honestly, Cien puts on great matches as we all know. I mean, when he was put up against Ty Dillinger for his debut, that was a great match. It's things that he's used to kick off the shows. He's always the curtain jerker, and he's that for a reason. He's like the Tito Santana of like the 80s. He can get the energy of the crowd up with his athleticism. I mean, seriously, he is. He has great energy. He has great athletic ability. And even if he loses, you're not disappointed in what you saw at all. And yeah, I think right now, Gargano with Ciampa being out, I think they kind of want to use him as like a Sami Zayn guy and kind of be like the face of NXT for a little bit as that, diehard worker that's in the company that will do anything for the company. So yeah, you gotta back Gargano on this one.
I'll tell you what, guys, if they get like a full 20, 25 minutes, don't be shocked if this is the best match of the night.
I agree. I think you're 100% right. Like I said, I'm unfamiliar with Almas as opposed to some of these other guys just because I haven't seen him enough. I've only been watching NXT for a few months now, and when I see him, he's been used very sparingly, and when he does go, it's with freaking No Way Jose. So I mean,
but even those matches are entertaining though.
Yeah, they're entertaining because that other Jack Wang just keeps dancing around. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm not knocking Almas. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and the dude is talented. So it's funny. We're all three going to go with Gargano there. So let's go to the next one here, which is going to be, I think, I don't know. This it's hard for me to say which is going to be my favorite match, but I really, really want to see this one. Hideo Itami versus my guy, my pro wrestling man crush right now, Aleister Black. I love Aleister Black. I get so freaking childlike excited when he comes out because like he's awesome. Ben, who you got? Do you got the veteran Itami or do you got Aleister Black in this one?
See, this one is honestly tough because you can see they want to push Black, but then you have Itami that is just coming back from injury. He's going through a psychosis change. He was a face, now he's a heel. And he always demands respect. And it's something that I don't think you can push Black over Itami right now. But that's why I say this is a really tough call because they could always swerve us and say, nope, Aleister's going to get that push because the past couple of weeks they've been really, hitting home with, Aleister Black, and he does. He has one of the best entrances in the business right now. Like, I think it's almost as underrated as Goldust's music. I'm not kidding when I say that.
No, I agree with you. I'm 100% right there with you.
I was going to say, the way even though, he has to walk down a ramp because it's physically impossible for him to pop up through a stage at Full Sail, it's still amazing. Having said that, though, you can't bring Itami back and have a psychosis change for him to lose, in my opinion. At least creatively, that doesn't make sense. As a storyteller, that doesn't make sense because you need to reestablish Itami as a guy that is near the top because before he got injured, he was near the top. So I think Itami wins this one. I'm just going on a gut instinct and on a creative aspect. You run less risk of a storyline going askew if Itami loses. So that's why I go with Itami for the win.
That's fair, Adam.
Man, this one is tough. I'm with Ben, but I think I'm gonna go Aleister Black. And here's the thing. I know when they brought Itami over, it was a huge deal. If I'm not mistaken, I think Hogan was still around, and they had him involved in the signing. They really went out of their way to make this a big deal. And through no fault of his own, Itami's been a bit of a flop. I know he's been hurt a lot, and I'm not blaming him whatsoever, but he's never really gotten on track. I think they're going to push Black over here, and I think Tommy's still able to keep his momentum going, and he'll still be able to kind of fully transform and everything. But I think Black wins this matchup.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'm going to go Black for the sheer fact that he, the past surprise, right? I just said he's my man crush. The past 2 weeks he's beaten the likes of Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly. Now he's feuding with Hideo Itami. Itami is an outstanding worker. I love I love the fact that somebody other than CM Punk is using to go to sleep. It's awesome. It's great. It's a nice, stylish move for him to use. It's fun. But Aleister Black is kind of the guy that they seem to have really strapped that rocket to his back a little bit. And the funny thing is, he doesn't do promos. I haven't heard him utter a word yet, unless I'm just missing it. But that's part of the mystery of Aleister Black. That's what I like. So I'm going to go Aleister Black on that one. Like I said, it's hard to say, but I think that's going to be the match that I'm looking forward to the most. But this whole card is stacked. This next one, the NXT tag titles on the line as the Authors of Pain take on Sanity. This hurts because I absolutely love Sanity. I just think they're entertaining. I think they're absolute badasses in the ring, but I don't see them putting the titles on them. It seems like they really like the Authors of Pain, so I'm going to go with the Authors of Pain here. Adam, where are you going to go with this one?
I'm going to backtrack just for a second, just to put it out there that CM Punk has unabashedly admitted that he stole the go to sleep from Tommy, who was Kent at the time. But as far as the tag match goes, Marty, I'm with you. I don't think they're ready to take the belts off of Authors of Pain yet. It does seem like they're pretty fully behind them. I'd be a little bit surprised to see Sanity win this one, so we'll stick with Authors of Pain.
And I think they're going to have a pretty decent program coming up with, Adam, not Adam, Ben, what's the name of those other guys, the big dudes?
Oh, God.
Heavy Machinery.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Heavy something, but Heavy Machinery.
Those are your boys, Marty. You should know that name.
Yeah, well, I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to have a long, drawn-out feud here. But, Ben, what are your thoughts on Authors of Pain versus Sanity? Where are you going to go?
Honestly, this is a squash match. It's going to be one of those, reestablish Authors of Pain as the guys that are untouchable and unstoppable. Sanity has, that never say die attitude because they're insane, so they'll go until they literally can't go anymore. And you're going to see that be good for like 6 minutes in the match, and then you're going to see AOP just do what they do. You're going to see, because in every match they have, there's that turning point where all the momentum just automatically hits a brick wall, and then they take over for 5 minutes, and it's over. They did it. Yep. They did it every time with Ciampa and Gargano. It seemed like the last time they were in the ring with them, they were actually going to get the momentum to go over a certain point, and they got caught with their finisher twice, I think, that ended them. So the only way I think Authors of Pain lose is if Heavy Machinery interferes, but then you still have, Authors of Pain retaining the titles, and then they can go into a storyline on that. But to me, like I said, complete squash match. I think, AOP definitely comes away with this easily. Even if Heavy Machinery tries to interfere, I would not be surprised if AOP just squashes them too, and then you could have a rivalry start from there from that as well. So this is kind of like the throwaway match of the night.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be long at all. I think they're going to get about 10 minutes total, which if you think about it, 10 minutes is a decent amount of time. But I think you're right. The other ones just have better quality to it. So I agree with you. I think it's going to be the throwaway match of the night as well. I think this next match, in all honesty, should be the main event, but I don't. They're not going to put it on after the NXT title. Asuka defending her title against Ember Moon. Adam, who you got?
Most people probably figure this out anyways, but that's Asuka all day for me. I don't think she's ready to lose the title yet. I like Ember Moon. I don't see it. So Asuka's still going to keep that streak going.
Ben, you and I believe, are on the same page in this one, but we'll find out here. Who are you going with?
Well, reports indicate that Asuka's injured. So, if that's truly the case, Ember Moon's going to be your champ so that Asuka can heal for a month, and then she can appear out of nowhere on the main roster. So,
look, pulling out the dirt sheet for an object to get the title back.
Yeah. So, totally, hey, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, my man.
Hey, I'm not saying you shouldn't.
Ben pulled the brass knucks out of the trunk.
No, you know what it was?
William Regal.
No, Adam brings a sledgehammer to this fight every time, and I was just like, you know what? I'm grabbing it for a change because that thing hurts, and I'm going to use it, man. So that's me basically grabbing the sledgehammer and doing a couple of rib shots. So Ember Moon for the win.
I'm going similar to Ben. I'm going to go Ember Moon as well, but for a completely different reason. Bayley, as we all know, legitimately did hurt her shoulder. I believe it was last week on Raw, so she's going to be out for a while. I think they're going to need somebody to take her spot. You know, they're clearly not doing anything with Nia Jax, which has me so pissed off right now. Because, okay, and I'll take flack for this. Do we really need to see Sasha Banks go for the women's title for the 836th time? No, we don't. We know how good she is. We get the fact that she's kind of like Charlotte Flair. You know she's going to go out there, put on arguably the match of the night. She doesn't need the title to be over. She doesn't need the title to put on the best match of the night or one of the best matches. So to me, it's silly that Sasha Banks went over on Nia Jax. So I think with Bayley's star power being out of the lineup for a little while, I think Ember Moon's going to get the title away from Asuka, and Asuka's going to show up on Raw. But more than just that, too, I think Ember Moon's ready. Her promos have been really, really strong lately. She's been more than holding her own against Asuka. It's been an entertaining rivalry, which, you know, typically rivalries with Asuka aren't, because Asuka's typically so much better than who she's going against. Like, the rivalry with Nikki Cross was fun just because Nikki Cross was absolutely batshit crazy. Not that she was the most amazing wrestler, just because her gimmick is she's crazy. And that's why I enjoyed that one so much. But I love what they're doing with Ember Moon and Asuka. And like I said, I just think Raw needs Asuka. There's nothing left for Asuka to do in NXT anyways. So I'm going to go with Ember Moon on this one. And in the main event, we have Bobby Roode defending the NXT title against a guy that I've been a fan of for a long time as well, Drew McIntyre. Ben, who do you got?
Well, we talked about this off air when I think it was like 2 weeks ago now. I will say Bobby Roode retains only for the sheer fact that it seems like they have him and his name always escapes me. Marty, you're going to have to help me.
Roderick Strong.
Thank you. I think him and Roderick Strong are going to be the two that will go at it for the title next, and Strong's going to take the title from Bobby Roode, and then Bobby Roode's going to get transitioned into the main roster. It's just something that Bobby Roode's great. He's a great champion. He's a great heel. He's very charismatic, as we all know. And I think you can have a really, really, really good feud with him and Roderick Strong for, a month or two. And at another takeover, 2 months down the line, you could have this epic battle between Strong and Roode, and it resolves Strong going to Regal's office like he did, I think, 3 weeks ago now, where he's like, I want a piece of Roode, and Regal's like, my hands are tied, bud. There's literally nothing I can do. So that's why I think Roode wins, and then you have that epic feud where he tries to get even and get the belt. So Bobby Roode all the way.
Adam, who you got?
This is another really difficult one, especially since, I haven't exactly been paying attention to NXT as much as I would want, but I'm going to stick with Bobby Roode retaining. I don't really have a solid reasoning for it. I don't see the two main titles switching hands. I don't think this is the show that NXT really shakes it up. I think most of the champions retain this time around.
That's fair. So we're going to do a clean sweep here because I love Drew McIntyre. I loved him when they first signed him, and he was the chosen one, and this and that. I've just been a fan of his for a long, long time. But I don't see him getting the title away from Bobby Roode just yet, for all the reasons you guys have said as well. They have a storyline ready to go with Roderick Strong. Drew McIntyre just got there. I don't think they're going to give him the title just yet. I would be okay with the three of them, Strong, McIntyre, and Roode, all three of them going having a feud between the three of them over the title. I wouldn't object to that at all. The three of them, whether it's triple threat matches, one or two, we all know the three of us in triple threat matches, we all hate them. Mm-hmm. But I think between the three of those three guys, one or two wouldn't be so bad because they're all so good. But we're going to do a clean sweep here with Bobby Roode. It was, I don't see him dropping the title, especially if Asuka loses the title, which I think really will happen. I don't think they're going to want to change both titles. So Adam has a salient point there too. Let me check here. That's all I have this week, guys. Nothing really going on in Ring of Honor, other than, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian went full heel. They're kind of having a rivalry with the fans, oddly enough. It's kind of funny if you've been following that. But nothing really going on in Ring of Honor that's groundbreaking or anything. So I'm out of topics for this week, fellas.
I just I have one thing to add.
Yeah, buddy.
It's something that, if you watched Raw on Monday, they addressed it. Michael Cole talked about Ric Flair's condition.
Yes, good save.
And Ric Flair had surgery on Monday, and from all intents and purposes, he was recovering nicely from that. However, his fiance, Wendy Barlow, has basically re-announced, and this is via TMZ, that he's back into serious condition. So it could be something where we might be seeing the two-time Hall of Famer probably, hopefully he, has enough fight and can fully recover for it. He's only 68. Some people will say that that's old. I don't see 68 as being old necessarily anymore. But the update reads as follows. She says, I just want to give an update to my friends and family as I've been unable to talk on the phone without crying and just feel shocked over the events. I took Rick to the hospital Friday night with severe abdominal pain. From that moment on, it all seems like a nightmare. Multiple organ problems. Do not want to go into many details. I want everyone to know he still needs prayers as he's still in critical condition. He did not have colon surgery. It was another surgery that he had. I think that's what she's referencing on Monday. She said that she's been by his side since Friday, and she's going to, make sure he's going to, get the best care possible. But it seems like if it's multiple organs that are failing on him, his body might just finally be giving out, which would make sense because we haven't seen Charlotte in 2 weeks. So I don't want to put it out there, but it seems like if you're having multiple organ failure, your body's kind of giving up on you, and I hope that's not the case. The Nature Boy is a wheeling and dealing, limousine riding, high flying, kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing son of a gun, and I hope he pulls out of it. But when you hear news like that, it doesn't seem good. So hopefully by the next time we do a show, we have a better update for people. But for right now, I'm just going to say don't be surprised if on the kickoff show on Sunday there's grave news. So just be prepared.
Yeah, that's a good save, Ben. I that's my fault as a host. I forgot about that one. Adam, you got anything you wanted to add?
No, I think that's going to be it. And, everybody at the podcast here is pulling for Rick, and hopefully we don't have a real somber opening to our next pod or SummerSlam, man. Hopefully he pulls through and it sounds more serious than it turns out to be.
Yeah, hopefully that is the case. I agree. We'll have Ben play us some Ric Flair on the way out of the outro this week. For the guys here at Sports Radio Detroit, Rick, we're pulling for you. For Adam and Ben, I'm Marty. We'll catch you guys outside the ring.